welcome back to another episode of Always Making. Thanks for joining us again. We have another great guest. Ansley from Bircher Collectibles is joining us here in our studio, which is actually just our basement. But we are going to have another great, awesome conversation about everything cool that she is doing in the maker creative world here in Utah in the greater Salt Lake area. But before we do, we're going to get into a little bit of housekeeping. Christy, we didn't talk about what we're doing actually for housekeeping. I'm confused. We have Jam Fest coming up. Wow.
Next 2 weeks? Next week?
In a week. That is.
In a week. In a week from the day this episode comes out.
Yeah. And then the fashion show.
Yes, which is also in a week from the day this comes out.
That is and September 26th and September 27th.
We are currently in Mill Creek Public Market.
Yes, that
we
is
have a booth at the 1330 Design Collective Market with all kinds of custom, unique, one-of-a-kind handmade items made by myself, as well as some vintage upcycles and ready-to-wear vintage. It's cool.
If you guys have been following Christy's vlog series on the YouTube channel with all the stuff she's been making, if that stuff hasn't sold out yet, I mean, I don't know because of this episode going out after we've already opened the store. But it might be there. So you guys can go check it out and support what we're doing.
I saw one. I'd be so happy.
And then we are also at Crafttoberfest. That is on October 4th.
Yep. Salt Lake Arts.
Yes. Council is doing that one there. And we might have a couple other things lined up as well. We've applied to a few other shows. Stay tuned on our social media for any updates. But that's housekeeping. So for not talking before the show and keeping up on
it,
we got it. We did pretty good on that. But Ansley, thank you for joining us here.
Thank you for having me.
We are super excited. We first met at the Cryptid Insider show. I was like, I forgot the name of it.
Hosted by a Loring podcast.
Yeah.
That was a Mountain West Art Cider.
Yeah, we had Kimmy on the podcast of one of our earlier episodes. So we were really fortunate to join you guys at that show. That was a really fun show. But we love your stuff. It's super fun.
Oh, thank you.
You are our first sculptor that we've had on the show.
Non-clay, because we did have a clay ceramics.
We had ceramics, which
yes,
but not like sculpting.
Same,
so
different.
Yeah. But I'm super excited to get into your whole process with everything and how it all works for you. And then we talked a little bit before we got started rolling the cameras and the recording the microphones and everything like that. But you have a crazy background on doing miniatures and D&D and everything. So that's super fun. I didn't know that about you as well. But I do want to know how it all got started for you before we get into the whole process and everything with you. How did you get started in this creative world?
Oh no. I get growing up, my family was always very creative. Like my dad would do carpentry and stained glass for fun. And my mom is a brilliant seamstress. And just both very smart and creative parents. So that had a big impact on me growing up. And then I really got more into the the more industrial or
manufacturing side of things?
Yeah, there you go. Manufacturing side of things and more harder to use techniques through cosplay originally. I went really hard into the cosplay world with making mostly suits of armor. That's what I really like to do, suits and props and etc. And then from that I ended up just kind of building more and more techniques and then getting some really cool contacts with various companies and just other really amazing artists who had a really cool skill set. And then I ended up getting a job at a creature shop, a defunct creature shop up in Linden/Pleasant Grove, where I learned a lot more film and manufacturing techniques for a creature shop, but also that transferred really well over into figurine manufacturing. We worked with a lot of molding, casting, foam latex, silicone, a lot of different painting techniques. At that effects shop, I was on the armor team and molding team, or department. So I got to learn how to make all sorts of different molds, from what's called a block mold to a 2-part mold to then a matrix mold. There's all sorts of different techniques that we would do, and I was like, holy crap, this is really cool. I want to implement this into my own skill set and make my own things. And then from there, working at the creature shop, we work on films. We also did stuff for a theme park. And yeah, from there I was like, oh, I really want, what if I made my own like little collectible series? At that time, I think it was about it was 2019. Yeah. Our shop, I'm trying to remember, it was a film and makeup school that's based out in California. Worked with us on a project for Sideshow Collectibles for San Diego Comic-Con that year.
Was it Stan Winston?
I wish. He's so cool. But I did almost physically run into Matt Winston at Monsterpalooza one year, and I was like, oh, sorry. Oh no. No, it was we created Cleopsis, Eater of the Dead from Sideshow Collectibles.
Okay.
Court of the Dead line. So what we did was a lot of the armor, and I got assigned to a lot of her props, and we helped do a lot of that like extra molding and etc. The cinema makeup school, that's what it was called. Okay, yeah, sorry, it's been a minute. Yeah, they split it up, and I'm also kind of rambling, so feel free to like stop.
No,
me.
you're good. Yeah.
So they like split it up, and we worked all on that, and I ended up getting to do all the props that were on her belt, which was a really cool like a sickle, a canopic jar, and these cool like golden vials. And we also like did the actual leather crafting for her belt. It was a mix of bison and cowhide. It was so pretty. That was so cool. I love working on big projects with people because it's just a bunch of nerds who get together and all work on something that's cool. And then you're like, yeah, we did it. And everyone's like, whoa, that's so cool. And it's like, yeah, everyone. Yeah, nerds. But from that, sorry, I love Sideshow Collectibles. And with that, I was like, oh, what if I kind of want to try and make my own like sculpture piece thing. I kind of want to try and make my own. And I was like, I bet let's try like sculpting a mushroom, because that same season we did some, they were totally the Last of Us zombies, but they were like, no, they're the Dark Bloods, and I'm like, I don't care, like I have work, I'm happy. But so I had sculpted up a bunch of these mushrooms that was on a giant plate mold that we made a mold out of, that then we could put foam latex in those, pull them out, paint them up, and then put them onto scare actors for that season. And so I was like, like I've learned a lot of these techniques already. I had so many amazing teachers in that shop who taught me how to sculpt, how to mold, how to cast, and like get generally better at things, and like how to have a more believable paint job with metals and etc. So I was like, I really want to use these new skills that I've learned to try and make something cool and new. So that started with my Pilz gnomes, the little mushroom guys that I have. Pilz means mushroom in German. So I was like, oh, they're mushroom gnomes. Hey, it works. They're cute.
They're adorable.
Yeah. So I started off, at each design that I did, I started off with a clay master. So I like to sculpt out of monster clay. It's a wax oil-based clay. So from there, you want to start off with like your simple shapes. Make sure you have a good base first, and then do details very, very last. Don't even worry about those. So I started doing my mushroom. I actually got a lot of inspiration for the line of my little mushroom guys from Hollow Knight. And Silk Song just came out as this recording. It came out like a few days ago. It's this fun video game that has mushroom fungal wastes, I think it's called, area. And there's a character that I got inspired from in there, and the Kodamas from Princess Mononoke. So that was kind of my inspiration, where I'd work from. And so I started sculpting up my clay master, and then I make a mold off of that clay master when I'm happy with it, and then pop it out, do a resin master, so that in the future, when my silicone mold eventually dies, I actually can like make a new one, and I don't have to re-sculpt it all over again. Yeah, and then I do a mix of, when I'm actually casting them, I do a mix of degassing and pressurization. So what that means is I have two different machines, or kind of like two different pressure pots. So I have my pressure pot, I put my mold in it, and then I have my degasser lid that I put on. The purpose of a degasser, it sucks all of the oxygen out. it helps get the resin into every single nook and cranny inside, so that you have a good clean area.
Yeah.
The part fills out everywhere. And then with pressurization, whatever, so it sucks all the oxygen out and then it kind of lets it back in, and then it pressurizes it. It's just extra precaution in all the nooks and crannies. Most people do one or the other. I like to do both. It's probably overkill, but I get really good results that way. And then when it cures, I pop it out. I then clean the piece and then assemble it and then hand paint each one.
Out of all of your pieces you're making, you're hand painting every single
one I hand paint.
Wow.
So it's a lot.
So let's take a couple steps back here. Did you go to schooling for this process and everything, or
no?
So this is straight out of like high school saying, hey, I'm gonna go start working at this creature shop? Is that how that happened?
Kind of. I got out of high school and I wasn't entirely sure what I wanted to do, so I went into social media marketing and then discovered I absolutely hated it.
Yeah.
And it's awesome to get your work out there and it feels good, but it's also it's just like an endless void.
Yeah. Yeah.
Of you're constantly having to keep up, constantly having to post. It's a wonderful tool, but it can become a terrible master if you're not careful. Which, yeah, that was always a struggle for me. So I was like, I'm going to take a semester off. And then from there, I had mentioned earlier I was doing cosplay stuff. One of my costumes got noticed by Red Bull, and I ended up doing some shows for them. So, what one was it? Red Bull Battlegrounds and Evo. So I was like, oh, look at this cosplayer. You should come to the after party. And yeah, so, and it was awesome. And I was like, wow, I actually really like this. Like, there are people here who their full-time job is to check all of the sound, make sure that's all good, make sure everything's running. There are these giant statues people make. I want to be the people who makes this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That sounds really cool to me. So I just started to... After that, I took a year off of college and then I never went back. And I just kept learning like new techniques and like working weird, odd jobs and like doing like, you need a bird alien for your YouTube video? I can do that.
Was the Red Bull thing that you got noticed for, was that your first cosplay? Or what was your first cosplay?
Oh, my first cosplay was terrible. This was, I would say, probably like 4 or 5. My first cosplay, I did Harley Quinn, like everyone else. But that's when I was like, I like working with foam and this material that was called Warbler, and fiberglass and like 3D modeling and 3D printing. So I wanted to pursue that more and really enjoyed that. Long story, what Red Bull noticed me for, I did Samus Aran from Metroid. I did her entire Varia suit.
Oh wow.
I think it was Metroid Prime 3, that specific suit design. And it was a mix of fiberglass, foam fabrication, this material called Sintra. It's a PVC plastic that you can heat and then shape. And yeah, that was the entire suit. I hate that suit. It's awesome. It looks so cool, but it's so heavy. It's like 30 pounds.
Oh, wow.
My goodness.
Because I was stupid and kept layering on more fiberglass and more Bondo and fiberglass and Bondo. And I'm like, it looks so cool. And I'm wearing it. I'm like,
like, I can get it smoother. I can get it a little bit better. And like more layers. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then that you're just adding more weight to it. And as it goes. Yeah.
So that suit ended up kind of going everywhere. It's been over a decade now, but it ended up getting like posted to Reddit, I think, and then just pew, and it took off. And someone from Red Bull Media House noticed it, and then talked to some people there, and then talked to me, and I was like, oh, okay, this sounds cool, sure, and ended up doing that. And I was like, I really like to do this maker's aspect and just continue to build up my skill set. And then with how I got my studio job, I was at a party. It was actually at a fashion show, a fundraising fashion show, and I had a friend who was there, and I was talking to him, and I was like, I just kind of feel stuck. I want to do more like I want to, like, this is really what I want to pursue, but we live in Utah. It's like, there's some stuff here, but not always. And he was like, oh, hey, there's this place opening up. Send them your, like, portfolio and resume and see what happens. Like, I'm friends with one of the managers. And I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, well, I'll send them my info. We'll see what happens and talk with them. And I ended up getting an internship and then a full-time position, and then worked there for about 4 years. And from that, COVID killed it. So, and then now I work full-time in the minifigure manufacturing world.
Yeah. And I to say you've taken your scale and like brought it way down, way.
Yeah.
Full-size cosplays to miniatures.
Storage is so much easier. Holy crap.
Yeah. Is there, I guess, is there a lot of crossover of the techniques that go into miniatures, or is there a lot of learning curve that kind of like went from like the cosplay side of things and making the big props and stuff going down to the miniature size of things? Is there like, for me, the way I kind of imagine it is the details get a lot less and you don't have to worry about them as much in the smaller, or am I completely wrong?
Or is it the opposite?
It always depends on the sculptor.
Is it?
And the company. Because some people are like, yeah, whatever. And then other people, you're like, why? There are rivets on the rivets. And they're the size of a ballpoint pen. Like, how did you sculpt a lace at 32 millimeter? Like, it's a lot easier with digital. Everything is digital sculpting now.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of like people still like to do traditional, and with some projects you can't, like, you need to do like traditional sculpting. But with digital, like when you're sculpting, you can print your little guy off at whatever scale you want.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you can have as much detail or as little detail, but with kind of going over with crossover with most miniatures, you don't have to have quite as much detail, because at a certain point it's so tiny you can't paint it.
Yeah.
and you want to paint it.
So I want to go back to where you talk about, because you're saying a lot of people are in the digital world, but you have chosen to go clay and go to more of a classic traditional style of how you make your collectibles. What was that choice? Why did you stick into go to a more traditional style of stuff?
I first learned traditional when I worked at the Creature Studio. I would help some of the sculptors. Mostly I would just help like keep clay hot. We liked to use monster clay a lot there too. And then I would help refine pieces. Or like, hey, we need this whole area smoothed out. And so I'd be like, oh, and they'd be like, here, no, take this. It's called a rake tool. And you just go in this specific style. I'd be like, oh, okay. They'd be like, how is this? And they're like, good, do the whole rest of the area. I'm like, okay, can do. And I just got really comfortable with that medium. I still feel like I have so much to learn with it, but I first learned with physical clay. And so when I made the first original 5 designs for my mushrooms, I did them all in clay. And I now know how to do digital sculpting, and it's so much faster. It's so much faster. But I still really enjoy doing traditional sculpting. Like my latest piece that I've done was it's a pumpkin toad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was all traditional. And I was like, oh no, I don't want to do it this way.
Are any of your pieces done digitally, or are they all done traditional?
They're pretty much all traditional, because I like to just, when I'm home from my job, I like to do the traditional sculpt route, because it's more relaxing and fun, unless you have a deadline. That I like to do. The only one that has a mix of that is my Ophelias. And that's more of my Ophelia. It's a 1/9 scale bust of a veiled skeleton woman. So I got really inspired by.
And that's a partnership, right? That's with I'm sorry, on your Instagram it shows you're kind of like working with somebody on that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I worked with Trenchworks. That's where I work full time.
Okay.
So I asked my boss. I was like, "Hey, like, could we do let's do some kind of collaboration?" Because my boss knew I was doing this, and he's like, "Oh, hey, let's we can help. Like, we have huge pressure pots at my job." So I was like, "Oh, sweet, I could fit multiple molds in here," and I did a custom resin marbleization mix that I did, and it's all about. Yeah, doing that it's really cool, but you need to have everything ready to go then and there, and then pressurize it. So yeah, no, I pretty much just did all the like manufacturing there with them, and they provided materials. Yeah, and did them there. But yeah, actual skull for the Ophelia veiled lady, that is an actual medical scan of a human skull.
Oh, okay.
That's
That
so
was
cool.
like, whoa, and it was like, you can use this for whatever, and I was like, okay. So I took it into ZBrush and cleaned it up because it was a scan, so it wasn't a complete STL. So you have to clean that up.
Yeah.
And like fill in holes and like make sure the jaw is together and backfill that, because it just, if you were to just stick that into a mold, it wouldn't work.
Yeah. Yeah. You're gonna have all the different pockets. You're gonna not. It's not gonna feel right. Yeah.
Yeah. So with that, I cleaned that up, and then I actually printed it at my job. We have a wall of resin printers because we make miniatures. So yeah. So then did that there, brought it home, and then I had my references of 18th century veiled lady statues, and then I sculpted the actual clay on top of that over it, and it was really fun. It was a fun mixed medium.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
And so that's your only one that has like the kind of digital side of it, but all your mushrooms and your toads are all traditional. How many mushroom pieces are there total now? You said 5. Is there more than the 5 or?
Yeah, there's Rudy, Fritz, Bruno, Philippe, Liesel. Oh yeah, now we have Hero Liesel. That's with the stick and shield. Mama Ada and little Jill. And Louis, who's also Morel mushroom, and Bruno, who's a sleepy little oyster mushroom.
So that's 8?
I think so.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh no, that's a lot.
Okay. So we've got 8 total different collectible statue creations that you have. How long does it take you for each individual piece?
So it can take anywhere between, like looking at the whole range, it can take anywhere between 15 minutes to an hour.
That's it?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sitting here like weeks.
Yeah, I'm like days, weeks.
Oh no, I have it really hammered in. Every time that I make a new character, I do my paint prototype and to make sure like I'm happy with it, with the colors and etc. Like Mama Ada, originally I had much lighter colors, and she looked like some cheap Temu crap figure, and I was like, I hate this. We're starting over, and I ended up going with more of like warm, like kind of warm winter tones.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, this looks a lot better. Now her hat, her little cap, looks more like a peony than just gross light pink.
Well, I'm impressed because like when you look at the details up close and everything, there's so much detail in your work that I when you say an hour, I'm like that's unbelievable.
A lot of the paint techniques that I do are meant to be very fast.
Oh, well, so hold on.
So painting takes an hour.
Painting takes an hour.
Oh no, we're talking about the resin production.
Okay. No,
the paint job.
No, okay. So let me clarify, because when you first sculpt,
yeah. So like to come up
the
with
first
like,
original character.
Oh, the first one.
Yeah. So how long does your first original piece come, like before you make the molds, before you make anything?
Yeah, before you make the
first clay sculpt, how long does that actually take you for your character?
For mushrooms,
yeah.
Now that I have it hammered in,
don't tell me an hour.
No, I'd be sorry. I'm gonna get so much hate mail to be like, I hate you.
It's like walk out now. Just go.
Go home. Give me that soda back. No, I would say anywhere from about a week.
Okay.
To 2 months.
Oh, okay. So
yeah.
that's what I was thinking.
It's like, how is she doing this in an hour?
Yeah.
If it was digital, maybe, but
okay.
no,
yeah.
They're all physical.
Yeah, that. Now, when you do your process and everything, to mold your, I guess, so I get a better understanding of your overall process. That clay sculpture that you make, you have to harden that when you're done, right? It stays soft and then it's malleable like okay.
It can be. What I usually do, because like when it's hot, it's more soft, but when it cools down, it becomes a bit harder.
Okay.
So if I'm doing it, I can, depending on like how complex it is, once I finish, I'll let it cool down and then I'll just go ahead and mold it.
Okay. And so 2-part mold basically is what we're
block
talking.
mold.
Block mold. Okay.
Yeah, I'll do, depending on how complex the character is, like a lot of the time I separate the arms from almost all my mushroom characters just
Okay.
because during the casting process they're not gonna be successful.
Yeah, air pockets
Mhm.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, so are you multi-molding? Oh, does that sound like the right
Yeah,
terminology?
no, yeah, I
Is
know
that
what you
is
mean, yeah.
okay? I was like, did that sound right to me? But so are your molds like multiple at a time, or is it one at a time that you're making these?
So for my character Fritz, that is a total of 4 different molds for one character.
Okay. And so,
But I do multiple cavities per
Yeah.
mold. So for example, I have 2 to 3 bodies of Fritz. So it's a 3 cavity mold. So it's
Okay.
one mold that has 3 cavities of the
Mhm.
body,
okay.
and then 3 cavities of his little stick staff, and then 3 cavities of his arm,
Okay.
and then 3 cavities of his head.
So when you're all said and done, you're getting 3 Fritz out of
Mhm.
all the molds. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
with,
then you just assemble, add the attach arms, whatever.
yeah, and I have like friends, so I'll be like, please help me. I have a market coming up.
Come assemble.
Yeah, so they'll come over. I've trained them with how to do resin casting, and then they'll get cleaned, and then from there they'll go downstairs to back to the hobbit hole, the little goblin den, where they're then assembled, primed, and painted.
Okay. So process now. We've got your mold or your original sculpt.
Yep.
You've got that done. Now you've got your
Make the
mold that
mold.
you've made from your original piece. Now, when you go to make your thing, you're saying you're to make from the mold to your paint and finish and everything, maybe an hour and a half per sculpture? Or
Yeah, probably about.
wow.
Because
that's-
so the resin that I use has a 30-minute cure time. And
Okay.
the cure time is, this is how long it takes the wet liquid to become hard.
Yeah, okay.
Mhm.
So every 30 minutes I can rotate one of my pressure pots. I try to have, within reason, the maximum amount of parts per pressure pot. So like I have 8 characters in this one, and I have 5 characters in this one. So every 30 minutes I'm getting 5 more characters.
Okay. That's
Wow.
a very impressive like manufacturing
Yeah,
setup
try.
for your household.
Yeah.
Okay, so people out there trying to get into the world of like just market world and everything like that. When was your first market?
Oh, it was actually. Oh, people are gonna hate me. It was last year.
Oh no, that's totally
awesome.
fine. No, that's like no one. When you say everyone's gonna hate you, why do you think everyone's gonna hate you? That it's your first market was only a year ago. What is?
It's
Yeah.
just I'm really happy with like how well my booth look and design, my
Oh.
brand design has come along.
Yeah,
And
no,
people
that's
were like,
great.
oh, you must have been doing this for years. And I'm
Oh
like,
no.
yeah.
No.
Totally.
No, I think that's a testament to the detail of what you're doing and going into like what your craft is, that your booth looks as good as it is.
Well, and also your background. I mean, you've been working on props and designing, and
Yeah.
I think it would come kind of naturally
with
to
a lot of
create
it.
a set.
Yeah.
We've had a similar situation when we did our first booth. People were like, "Oh, how long have you been doing markets?" And we're like, "Oh, this is
This is
our
our
first
first one."
show." And they're like, "Oh," and we're like, "Oh yeah," but we've been doing like production and we've been doing like other like events and things like that for like video and different things. So like we had an understanding of like what we would need to set up. So like I would never like take the approach of like, oh, people are gonna hate us for it because they think I've taken that approach. But what I asked, because with your first show, how did you feel the first show went for you?
I feel it went good, but I definitely could have prepared better. Like we didn't have a canopy.
Oh, okay.
We had no canopy, and we were just getting assaulted in the eyes by the sun. We were like, "Oh, hi, hello, welcome. I can't see. Oh, you're over here. Hello." But luckily, one of our neighbors, they had an extra one, and they were like, "Hey, do you guys want to borrow one?" And we were like, "Yes, please."
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah, but I wish I would have had a better point of sale as well, because I just had a Venmo. I printed off my Venmo QR code. Luckily, my lovely partner, my boyfriend, he is a full-time editor and graphic designer. So I was like, hey, can you help me make a brand guide and like make my banner and stuff? And he was like, oh, absolutely. So, and then at all the markets, he's there with me helping and etc. with setup and takedown. And we've really like nailed in our whole process of like setup and teardown now.
Yeah. Well, it goes to like, again, that there was experience before you did your first market. Like, and that helped that first market a little bit with some of the pre-gaming a little bit. Now, the learning curve of like, hey, I probably should have had a canopy for the first one. Well, you didn't learn that till you did the first market, right?
Or bags. I had like no bags for people or like paper to wrap up the figurines.
I don't think we had bags the first market, actually.
I don't know that we did either, actually.
I'm trying
the
to think.
very first one.
Yeah, the very first.
I know we
market.
did for DIY Fest because
we were ordered them, but I don't know if they came in for the first show.
Yeah, I don't think we had them for the SLC Punk Rock Flea, but I know we had them for DIY Fest because they had specifically asked to have like recyclable like
paper bags,
yeah,
kind
like
of thing.
paper
So we did have
stuff. But yeah,
but that's
that was only because they sent an email and was like, hey, if you're gonna have like packaging for people, make it like recyclable, and we were like, oh, okay.
So how many shows have you done since your first one?
Oh, maybe 10.
Okay. So that's a pretty significant amount of shows in your first year.
Yeah.
What have you learned besides a canopy and having paper to roll with since your first show to your most recent show?
Yeah, definitely what kind of markets have, from like a business aspect, what kind of markets have a better payoff? Where do we make more profit versus where do we not?
Yeah.
Like one of this, I don't want to say names, but it was a Christmas holiday market that I had been preparing for, and this was last year. I'd been preparing for since like October, and I was like, yes, we have all the stock. This is awesome. This is gonna be cool. It was 2 days. We arrived, barely made back table. Wow. It was dead. It was so dead, and I was so shocked.
If I'm guessing about the holiday market, that was 2 days. Was it at the convention center in Sandy?
No.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
okay.
No. There's more than one.
Oh, there's a lot of holiday markets, which might be
like
part of
dead ones. More than one dead one.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
no. Yeah, we had a similar experience with the holiday market that we were like, oh, this is going to be great. We were sold this idea that it's part of this big, huge thing. There's going to be over 100,000 people
advertising
who come
on local news and local media.
And it was, and we barely made booth feedback and like our cost of goods kind of thing.
Yeah.
And but there's people that we saw that made like no business,
0
sales,
show.
and it was like, whoa, and like but it was like, and again, we learned. We're like, oh, this was a very expensive learning like experience.
Yeah, it's like, no, it's this, whatever like the market is here, the demographic, people coming and going, this just isn't your people. Like, your people are out there, and that similar like at the Christmas market with us, like all of our neighbors were so discouraged, and like 2 of them, they were like, this is our first one. They were like, I can't, I'm not gonna do this again. And I was like,
it's
no, I'm like, there's only up from here. But it's like, no, this is not your demographic. And we kept telling them like, no, this is weird. This is weird. It's not you. This is something weird that's going on. And there were people there. There were 2 people that had like sold out, and I was like, yeah, way to go. I'm glad someone did great.
Someone's making money.
Yeah, we're cheering you on kind of thing. But yeah, it is tough because you don't know till you do a market. Like there's markets every weekend out here. It's crazy how many markets are going on. And there's some that like are doing great, and there's some you're like, ooh, there was nobody that came through, and you only know till you like try it, and that's the tough part kind of thing. And sometimes they're going to be a loss, but that's a good like note for people out there. Like, hey, you're gonna have some like not so great markets. How did the Ren Fair go for you guys?
Good. It was great.
Yeah, I mean, your guys' stuff very well fits into that demographic for sure. But I mean, it's a very big Ren Fair that you guys were at, and so I was like, I'm gonna ask how that went for you guys.
It went great. It was so exhausting. But it was awesome. And like the event treated us so well.
Oh, wow. That's
like we would have staff that would come by to be like, hey, do you guys all need water? Or like, hey, do you need fans?
That's awesome.
It was just like simple hand fans, but had like Utah Renaissance Fair like screen printed on them.
That's the one in Monroe, right?
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's one of the biggest ones in like the whole state, I believe, right?
It's the biggest one.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
like it's on our list of Ren fairs
Yeah.
to attend.
Yeah.
Like it is like one of the top lists. We just haven't made it
It's
there
so
yet.
worth going.
Yeah.
I love it. Like I've been going to it since I was like a kid.
Oh yeah.
I love it, and I'm like, man, it would be really cool to have a booth here someday because I've always had such a good time there, and there's so many good like handcrafted things that are there.
Is it so? I've had these experiences where like I've attended things and then you get kind of this behind the scenes and you're like, ooh, do I want to continue being part of it, like in the same way of like, do I just want to attend or do I want to be a part of it? Do you still want to be a part of it or do you just want to attend it and not like actually be a vendor there?
I want to be a part of it. I want to be a part of it. Well, one thing that is kind of like, oh man, they do not sell any alcohol at the Utah Renaissance Fair.
Yeah.
At Utah Ren Fest, really confusing names, they do, and it's quite lovely. But at the Utah Renaissance Fair, no, it's a purely dry Renaissance festival, which is weird. But if you live in Utah, you're like,
Yeah, kind of understandable.
Yeah, it's understandable.
Okay.
So that is like, oh man. But no, like the jousting shows, the armored combat fights, and like just seeing how creative people get with their costumes and design, it's so fun. But it was also really nice to be like, yes, this is our little shop, our little base camp. And it was great. It was about 11-hour work days, so that was hard.
Oh
but
yeah.
It was awesome. I will absolutely do it again.
Yeah. But
Cool.
that's one of those things. You're like, it's going to be 11, 12-hour days. It's long. It's drives out to places, hotel stays. But you're like, I'll do it again. Like,
Oh yeah.
yeah. Is there like, have you done like FanX or any of those other conventions yet?
Yes, I have done FanX.
Yeah. So with your like stuff, like
As a vendor
As a
or
vendor?
as an attendee only?
Yeah.
So I actually used to do a lot of cosplay guest stuff, and I
Okay.
actually would help judge their costume contest.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Okay.
cool.
Yeah. I had a vendor table there that was a mix of like like, oh, here's my cosplay prints. It feels silly to me now because that I just got all the joy that I wanted out of that. And then also my mushroom guys, and I did pretty well there, but I don't like their table fees were too high.
Yeah.
I didn't care too much for them.
We had like, it's one of those again experiences where that's one where I'm like, I just want to attend more than I want to vend kind of thing. I have way more fun of the people watching and being part of the experience than I want to be
Seeing the cosplays. and,
then
like, yeah.
going to the panels, like being part of it, than I actually want to be like stuck in a booth kind of thing. So there's those like back and forth of like, what events do I actually want to be at? Because yeah, you like, there's things where like, ooh, this is so much fun to be here. I want to be a part of it. I want to be like in the mix of it. And then there's times where I'm like, after I did it, I'm like, I don't know if I want to be in the mix of it. I just want to come and like be on my
Just
schedule.
have a good time.
Yeah, just have a good time.
Yeah, I've gotten bored with FanX. It's just not my thing anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I know so many people here enjoy it. It's like, go for it. But I'm like, oh god, there are so many people here. I'm like, oh, this is too much.
Well, we.
So,
Go ahead.
I was
yeah.
just say, so do you have any desire to do like cosplays again? Do you still do cosplays? Or you're kind of like done with that world?
I still kind of, but I've gotten all the joy I want out of it. It doesn't bring me the same amount of fulfillment and joy that I used to get. And I enjoy working with a team a lot more on like one costume or one department. Like I got the really lucky opportunity to work on a feature film here about 2 years ago. And I was on the props team, and that was so much more fun and fulfilling. And it made a lot more money. You don't make any money doing cosplay.
I will say we've done so many different conventions as attendees, not as like vendors or anything like that. My favorite like convention was actually one of the smallest conventions in South Carolina, Myrtle Beach area. I was working a different event, and it just happened to be another little side hall. And I had a break from what I was working at event and walk through it. And the passion and joy that was there from all the like smaller people. So like, if anything, like go do your cosplay at like some random town, small thing, because it's going to bring a whole new light to what cosplay is. Because we've experienced such big cosplay conventions that it's like, okay, kind of like we've done Star Wars like Celebration and like the big, huge, crazy costumes and all these things where I'm like, this is really cool. It's the most exciting like Star Wars thing I've ever been to. I love it. I want to go to every single one. It's just crazy expensive. But when I went to the smaller one, I'm like, this is what fandom is. Like the big commercial side of things has lost the heart of like what the small things are. It really
has.
Yeah.
And like at smaller events, I feel like I had a blast at FanX when I would go.
Yeah.
But it feels like it grew too fast.
Yeah.
And
I've seen the ads for the Alco convention.
I've heard nothing but good. I have a friend who's working on it.
Do we make the drive out there just to kind of see? Because it feels like it'd be like the cool place to be because it's going to be slightly smaller. But yeah, if anything, like it's like find the smaller ones and like just kind of have fun with like the smaller like side of like actual fandom than the big huge commercial things.
Like I love back in was it August? I think it was August. Utah Retro Game Expo.
Oh, yeah.
That was so fun.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that one. My personal favorite convention. I just love to go to attend. I think I'm kind of too intimidated to be a vendor there, but it's so dope. It's so cool. Monster Palooza.
Yeah. We have not gone to one yet. It's one of those ones again on the list to attend kind of thing. But
when I was there with the creative studio I worked with, we were like a couple tables away from Rick Baker. And I was like, oh God, oh no, you're so cool. Like Stan Winston Studios was there, and like one of my favorite artists, Miss Monster Mel, she has such a cool eye for like shapes and edges. Like I was able to buy a few of her pieces. Like it's so cool. They had the suit. I'm trying to remember his name. The year that I was there, The Shape of Water had just come out.
Okay.
And they actually had the suit. I think it was Stephen Yang.
Oh man.
I might be saying that was on display, and I'm like, this is so dope because that one is way more like monsters and like movie stuff and like sculpting cool things, and it's I love it, but it's like with my passion it makes sense.
Every year when social media pops off, when it goes like for the weekend, like my feed just gets filled with all the different like vendors and people attending, and I'm like, yeah, we got to go to one of those at some point kind of thing, because it's like all the props and costumes and all the stuff that we love and everything is like, that's going to be one fun one to attend and everything. I can't wait till like Juniper's older and we get to like FanX will be a thing where we get to like share with her and everything, but like all those random like things and fandoms and like creative like MonsterCon and what's the other Oddities conventions and stuff like that. Those are all going to be so much fun because it's like the people that are there are so passionate about why they're there. There's so much fandom behind it, and so like we've gone off on a crazy tangent on. But, I mean, it's relatable, but it is also
it's so cool, and like that's what I love every time that I'm at a market and everybody's setting up their tables and getting ready. It's so cool to see everyone's stuff. Like it's a lot of effort to get out to these events and then to make sure you have enough stock, set up your booth. Does all your POS systems work? Do you have enough bags? Do X, Y, and Z? And it's a lot of work. So it's really fun to see the passion that goes into it that everyone like brings to the market.
Yeah. I want to talk a little bit about tools that you use and what are some of the tools that you could not live without in your maker space right now.
Belt sander. And my airbrush.
Do you have a specific brand that you like swear by, or do you have, because like I have like 3 or 4 different airbrushes and like I don't care, like I'm not brand loyal. I just like, this one's for like spraying this stuff and this is for spraying, but are you like, is there something that you like really prefer?
It really, I have a little crappy Pache that I just use for base coating, and then if I'm doing more detailed stuff I have a Iwata. I don't know if it's Iwata or just Iwata.
Yeah, I don't know how to pronounce it either, but I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah, and that's what that's like those, my belt sander, my air compressor, and like also like the air hose adapter.
Mm-hmm.
So then you're like, okay, now to clean the pieces. And it's like, oh, I'm dirty. Like,
Yeah.
and get it all the dust off of you. But yeah, I like DeWalt in terms of like power tool brand as well, but that's just kind of what I've always had.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's the best one out there. It's just what's worked for me.
And when you say like belt sander, are you talking like a tabletop belt sander? Or are
Yeah.
you talking, okay, you're not like a handheld belt
No,
sander?
no, it's like a big old chunky
Yeah.
boy.
Okay. Cool. And is there something from market wise that like you couldn't live without now, like when attending markets?
Oh, like something you have to go over and get?
Yeah, that you have to have like when you're no, I'm saying like when you
as a vendor,
like that you have to have when for your setup.
Oh, like,
besides a canopy.
yeah.
Or maybe it is the canopy.
I just bought a huge EcoFlow power brick.
Okay.
It's like 800 watt. It is awesome. I can run a mini swamp cooler off of it at the Masonic Temple, Odd Lake City. That's their new home now.
Okay.
And I love Odd Lake City. They're awesome. Like, it's like everyone's there is like nerdy and into creepy stuff. So I'm like, oh yes, my people. But it gets so hot in there this summer. So I have a giant power block because you can plug your POS system into that. You can plug your phones into that. Lights if it gets darker. And a fan or a heater.
Oh wow.
So having
Awesome.
a pretty good, it was a little expensive, but it's so worth it. Like, that has been a big help and a big game changer. It's like, okay, good. We're here for 8 hours, but at least we're like, now we have comfortable airflow.
Yeah. So for us, I use Ryobi adapters for a lot of our stuff and everything. So like we have so many Ryobi tools with our stuff. So our Ryobi battery packs, I just carry a couple battery packs, and then we just have like our fan or like the heater. I have a propane heater, but sometimes you can't use propane heaters indoors. Kind of thing. But like they have so many different like things, and I'm like, oh, we just need a new tool for this one, and I just the battery packs. So, but having some kind of power source is definitely a huge plus for market purposes and everything.
Yeah. Especially like at some markets, they have the option of like, oh, do you want power? But if you do, you got to pay for it.
Yep.
But if you have your own power supply.
Yeah. And if you're
good.
doing enough markets in the long run, like, hey, extra power is $50 or $100 per show kind of thing, you're going to pay for that power pack that's going to outlast markets for you kind of thing, and be usable outside of markets as well for other things. So that's definitely a nice little tip with it. Do you have advice for people out there trying to get into the creative maker market world out there that you're in?
Make stuff that you like. Make stuff that you're like, I think that this is cool. And make sure you have enough stock. But don't go too crazy with like, oh, I'm going to make 50 of these hair ties. It's like, whoa. You have no, like, yeah, you enjoy those, but make sure, see how well it sells before you go all in with making a ton more.
Yeah.
Like with my Ophelias, it's my personal favorite piece. That was so fun to sculpt, and I learned a lot from it because a lot of my stuff is more simple, and that was a lot more complex. But I originally made like 10 of her, and I just now have finished like selling them because it was like, oh, it'll be really big. I sell on average only like one a show, which is still pretty great, but it's like, oh, I didn't think about that. And the more inventory you have, the more stuff you have to bring with you to the market. So definitely like be like, I'm gonna make like, let's make 10 of these. Let's make 5 of these. Let's make X amount of this, and just see how it does. But make what you want to make, and make what you're not seeing at other markets.
You bring up an interesting point that I just thought about, because your stuff is not flat pack. Your stuff is not. How easy is it, or how hard is it, I guess is the real question, to get all your stuff to market?
I have, depending on how big the market is and like how much inventory, I have in between 2 to 4 totes.
Okay.
for
Are we like Costco yellow lid,
Yeah.
black totes? Okay.
yeah, well,
Yeah.
these ones are from Walmart. They have wheels,
Okay.
so you can just drag it along behind you. But inside I have and inside each one there are 4 different boxes that then have, oh, this is Fritz, we have 10 of him. This is Bruno, we have 8 of him. I have to hand wrap each one and then put them into the tote box. Make sure there's enough padding in there. Close that, put that in the tote, and then seal the tote and then bring it out. So it's, I think I had actually 5 or 6 totes with me at the Utah Renaissance Festival. But that was a mix of like our setup totes, our set deck totes,
Mhm.
and our product totes. So it was a lot, but it's not it's not easy.
So was that how you started your like doing, or how long did it take you to get your system developed to then like get to where you're at now with that, having everything wrapped and sorted and going through like what you do now?
Luckily, I learned a lot of that from when I used to do cosplay. When
Okay.
sometimes I would get really lucky and get the privilege to be able to be a guest at some conventions. And when you're flying out or driving out to these events, you not only need to take your costumes with you, which you need to make sure are like protected, like is it fabric, is it armor, is it a mask, etc. You got to make sure those are packed really well, and then you also have to think about, how am I going to pack prints, or how am I going to pack some of my prop pieces that I'm selling. So a lot of the stuff, I used to have a booth then, a lot of stuff I learned then that were easily transferable over into doing markets.
Yeah, it's same concept when we would travel for production and stuff. Like we would travel all over. I would lay out all of our camera gear, all of our wires, all of everything we need before we would like because we'd get on a plane and I need everything to be like able to come with us on the plane. So it's the same concept with when we were doing our shows. It's like, okay, here's how everything goes sorted in our boxes. So it did make it to like a little bit easier to like make it to a show and like, oh, open this box, everything's so having a little bit of that background like makes it a little bit easier going forward with it. So but yeah, for some people, hey, like maybe game plan a little bit before you do your first show.
Oh yeah, make sure, like I have like, oh, this is like the front counter tote that has our like square tap to pay, that has all of our price listing. Gaff tape, you have to have gaff tape. That will save your life.
We have a roll of black gaff tape in our box.
Like if you're just starting, get gaff tape. You can tape down cables, you can tape down your cloth, you can tape up your price tags, etc. Gaff tape's amazing.
People out there who don't know, gaff tape is an industry standard in the film world. It is a paperback tape that leaves almost no residue. It is great. It is some of the best stuff out there.
Easy to tear. You don't need scissors.
Easy to tear. You don't need scissors. Yeah. Buy roll. It's probably anywhere from like $12 to $20 depending on how big of a roll you get. 2-inch wide gaff tape will save you on so much stuff. But have a roll. It's great.
It's so good. Yeah, it comes in like so many colors.
Oh, it does. It comes in
like,
a crap ton of colors. Yeah.
I had some glow in the dark one once for production. So I was like, it's so dark in here. People are going to trip and die.
Yeah. No,
like,
glow in the dark ones are
that
great.
way.
Yeah. We have a white roll over there somewhere. We've got a black roll in our box. We've got a couple different rolls all over the place. I have a little gift card. We were talking about gift cards. I cut the gift card and it's just wrapped some gaff tape, and that sits in my backpack all the time because I always like
have a little piece of
gaff tape. Just rip it off and I need something. Yeah. That's a old camera guy trick that someone's like, hey, this. I'm like, oh my god, that's genius.
Until other people come over and are like, hey, do you have any gaff? No.
Yeah.
I don't.
This is my tape.
Get away. Be gone.
Well, it's been great having a conversation with you and going down all these different rabbit holes and nerdums and fandoms and everything that way. I want to make sure people have opportunity to learn. Oh, Bonnie's giving a little bark up there. She's getting a little bugged up. But I want to make sure people have a chance to find more about you and everything. Where is the best place they can find out more information about what you're doing?
Yeah, so you can find me on Instagram at Bircher Collectibles. And I also have an Etsy that is Bircher Collectibles on Etsy. If you go onto my Instagram, my link to my Etsy store is right in my bio, and you'll be able to go to there and look at all my little critters.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming down, having the conversation. It's been great.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah, not a problem at all. Guys, you know what to do at this point. Thank you for joining us on this episode. Like, comment, subscribe. If you know any other artists in the local Salt Lake or greater Salt Lake area that might be interested in having conversation about their passion of making and being creative, send them our way. We might have a great conversation here in our basement. But for now, that's going to be the end of our show, and we'll see you guys on the next one.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.